plan, employee salary data, position information forms, which was completed by the employees, as well as interviewing the department heads. Now, it should be noted that we retained Bolton in October of 2023 at a cost of $27,000. Now, for purposes of tonight, Bolton did recommend a unique structure that was both lower in starting pay and ending range for our public safety. So therefore, between the chiefs and I, we decided on a different alignment for our pay recommendation that you'll see tonight. So tonight is more of an internal process that the city moved forward on. Now, additionally, I should note that Bolton during this process tried to split the alliance that fire and police had. And that's one thing that the city has worked diligently to keep together is the alliance of our public safety employees. Now, we did take extra consideration with reviewing this information, and we hope that tonight you'll see the plan going forward with a couple of options. But again, for tonight's purposes, we're only dealing with public safety employees. We will discuss general employees in the future. Okay. The three topics that we're planning on discussing tonight is the annual pay range for our starting pay for each of our positions in public safety. We're introducing a new step structure, which will provide a pay adjustment on the employee's position anniversary date. And then as well as we're going to try to address compression. And if you think about compression, when we move this needle on our COLAs, our cost of living increase, we move the starting pays from bottom to top. With compression, we're talking about the employees moving them left to right within their ranges. Okay. For purposes of tonight, if council recalls, back with the budget this year, you approved a cost of living increase of 4%. So again, when I was speaking about our top to bottom or bottom to top starting pay, we increased our starting pay by the 4% that was an increase. So this is our current pay structure for public safety. It should be noted that grade 12 is a trainee position. The city does not have any current firefighters or police officers in that position and has not in some time. The recommendation for public safety is to split the two functions. We will have a public safety pay scale. We will classify that as the PS scale, as well as a general pay structure for public safety. So that's the GP scale that you see here tonight. Now, it will be noted that we had a few positions where the starting pay did decrease, and that was purposeful. But as a result of that, no employee is going to have a reduction in their compensation as a result of that decrease in starting pay. So what does this mean to our employees? So this schedule right here reflects the current starting pay range for our positions that are going to be on the PS structure compared to our recommending starting pay range and how it affects that position, i.e. a firefighter or a police officer. If we hire them after this is introduced or this is approved by City Council, will receive $53,548, which is $134 more than what we approved with the budget at $621.24. There's 33 people in this position, and based on our recommendation, we would have 9 people receiving the $134. And so for each of our positions, we've done the same calculation to determine what employee is in the position and how they would be affected. So as you reflect, the fire lieutenant and police corporal, we have 5 in there. 4 of those will get an increase in their pay, and that varies based on their current salary. Now, one of the things that we did to make sure we address that left to right movement within the pay, if you recall in this budget, we also incorporated a 1% merit. So those employees that were eligible to receive the 1% will not be impacted by this. Therefore, their left to right will increase by that 134 from their starting pay. So for example, we took a salary of a police officer that was hired January of 2023 to include his salary at 24 plus his 4% to give him 53,414, which is the starting pay currently for a firefighter and police officer. The recommended public safety pay structure is 53,548. This employee, to his current annual salary, which includes a merit of 53,948, will receive the 134 for a new annual salary effective 11/8, if this is approved tonight, of $54,082. Now, this is telling us a couple things currently, that our firefighter and police officers' starting pay is competitive with the market. If you recall, through the various years, council has taken great steps to get this up. So from their standpoint, we've done our job to stay competitive with neighboring markets. Are we the highest? Absolutely not, but we are very much competitive. Now, if you recall, I mentioned there's a second pay grade, and this is our general public pay scale that we are referencing. These employees' positions are noted. You've got your battalion chief, your police lieutenants, your deputy fire chief, and your police captains. So with this pay structure, and based on our recommendation, you'll see that, for example, our battalion chiefs will see an overall increase to their starting pay of $11,678. We currently have 3 in the position, and 3 people will see various increases based on their starting pay. Okay, so with that, our recommendation tonight is to make this effective November 8th, 2024. And you wonder why that date? Well, for us finance people, it's the start of a payroll. Plain and simple. Annual cost, if we had did this at the beginning of the year, of the fiscal year, we're looking at $133,500. However, since we're starting at mid-year per se, we need $81,800 with this recommendation. It should be noted, if y'all approve this tonight, you're now committing future revenue for 26 budget based on tonight's recommendation. So that means this is the first thing that we have to check off the box with our new money for 26. Now, as I indicated, we had 3 things. This is the second and the third item. We'd like to introduce a STEP program, which is a 2% increase on the position's anniversary date for the position's public safety pay structure. If you recall, earlier we had 2 structures. This is the public safety structure that we are speaking of. Those employees that are on the general structure will not receive this increase. Again, same thing, beginning November 8th, we recommend to adopt this 2% on the position's anniversary date. We would like to note to our employees and those listening at home that if this adopted, that this is 2% merit. So if by chance City Council adopts in the future any other merits with the budget, anything above the 2% they would be eligible for, because we're currently giving them 2%. So for example, if it's a 3% merit, they would be eligible for that 1% at the adoption of the budget. Okay. Again, November 8th is our recommendation of starting this. If we had started this in the beginning of the year, we're looking at $94,900. However, based on the anniversary dates and when we're starting this, the actual cost for 25 that we are needing is $19,800. Just as earlier, if y'all approve this second step, we are committing future revenue to this project. So therefore, in 26, this is the second thing that we're going to have to address with our new revenue. The final item is compression. And compression is that difficult word because it's hard to address with so many variables in place. And to truly address it, it would probably break the bank. So therefore, the chiefs and I came up with a solution trying to address the compression issue that exists within those employees that have been in the position for numerous years. We're not talking about longevity, but we're talking about compression here. So therefore, our recommendation is those employees on the public safety pay structure, again, not on the general, will receive a 2% if you have 5+ to 10 years of service. We currently have 8 employees. For those employees that have been in the position for 10+ to 15 years would receive a 4% increase. We currently have 4 employees. And those with 15+ years of service would receive a 6% increase. And currently we have 3 employees that will receive this if approved tonight. Again, the annual cost, if we had started this at the beginning of the year, would have been $46,800. The cost that we need for 25 is $29,700. And again, I feel like a broken record, but if y'all approve this tonight, this is committing new revenue for 26, and this will be the third thing that our finance director will have to check off the box before presenting any new services or anything else that City Council directs us to do. So for next steps, the city manager will introduce an ordinance tonight requesting the appropriation of funds needed to make this effective November 8th. If City Council approves this, the total appropriation request for 25 would be $131,300. The next step for staff is to start looking at our general employees pay structure. We anticipate bringing that to you in November or December. I should note, and I meant to make this bigger so everybody can really see the impact, is that for 26, the annual anticipated cost is $275,200. That is going to be the first thing that our finance director is going to make sure we have in the budget before doing anything else.
All right, Tanya, that was a...
Well, we're going to have one comment by the city manager now before we go on into questions.
Go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, I appreciate the presentation and the work that Tanya's done with our chiefs to get to this point. It's been a long time coming, and I think that one of the ways that something like this can quickly go off the rails is if we implement a step system and then the next year or in a future year things get tighter than we expect and all of a sudden we can't continue it. You know, the wheels fall off. And so what I will be recommending to you as you consider the mid-year recommendations is that we actually establish a reasonable reserve equivalent to 1 year's worth of additional step. That's the second of the 3 recommendations, so that even in a year in which things took an unexpected turn, we would be able to continue that program while we work together to figure out how to continue it beyond that year. So it's building in a bit of a safety net to make sure. Another recommendation that is in the staff memo to you is that rather than waiting 36 years to do the next one, that when we do implement this, that we plan as an organization to begin to regularly refresh this sort of stuff every 3 to 4 years. And the final thing I would say, and Tanya said it, we're asking you to commit $275,000 in FY26. That's ongoing money which will be built upon, future pay raises will be built upon that number. And future additional step increases will add to that number in their own way. So this is a significant investment we're asking you to make. And we understand how important it is, and we understand its relative priority. So if you approve it, as Tanya said, it will be taking care of this along with our base budget will be the first priorities we have. And with that, I'll stop talking. Tanya and her team or I are prepared to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, is there anybody that has any questions of Tanya or Randy? I know I knew Keith was going to have a question. We've all heard this before. I think this is the 10th time that you presented it, Tanya. And thank council for taking the time to listen to the initial presentation and to the two chiefs for backing her up. You know, the engine that runs this community is our staff. No doubt about it, it's our staff. And I won't be here next year, but I would encourage council to not only move forward with this tonight, but to make sure that we continue on that path to keeping our folks at the highest range that we can get them. And Tanya, you've done a magnificent job, and we appreciate it. Keith, you have a question of Tanya?
Just the one, you talked about the annual cost to include benefits. Can you give me an example of what the benefits are that we're getting besides healthcare or?
For benefits, it's not health care, so it's directly related to the salary. So with salary increases also goes increase in the compensation for VRS. So we have to pay a retirement piece as well. Then there's also additional VRSA requirements for workers' comp because we do it based on their salary. And then of course there's the government that has to have their share. So we have our Social Security, Medicare that goes in there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, other questions?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to afford the chiefs an opportunity to say
Absolutely,
anything?
both of them, as a matter of fact. Mike, any comments you'd like to make?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Wheeler. I'm really happy that this is moving forward. I think it's been, as Tanya and Randy both have said, it's been long overdue, and I think it's a good start. And we all have very good employees, and so it's those folks that are going to be getting this extra funds is going to be worth it, and I think they're going to be very appreciative of it.
Good, thank you, Mike. Chief?
I agree with Chief Bryant. I know it's been a long time coming because it's a conversation that apparently had already started before I came to town. And I've been fortunate to be part of a team that's been able to put together a product that we think is beneficial to our employees, but not burdensome on our community. And so we appreciate the support of council in reviewing this and taking it into consideration tonight, and look forward to seeing how it goes in the meeting.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Okay, we're done.
7 minutes. Yes.
You can turn it off.
Yeah, you can turn it off.
Right now. Ever. Are these mics up at the last room?
No. Please take the handout with you.
We didn't do it, but I still feel a little bit bad. But actually, that's the best we've ever heard you guys talk, ever. Ever.
Because of y'all were able to get over the wall.
Well, we did punt.
All right, you ready to go? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to each and every one of you. Glad to see some citizens here tonight and be delighted to hear what you've got to say. The one thing I would, it's not a caution, but I would tell you, we don't have a clock on you, but we don't answer questions. We won't ask you questions, and we're not going to ask us any questions. But that doesn't mean that we're not concerned about what you're here tonight to talk to us about. So with that said, let's have the Vice Mayor. We're going to stand. The Vice Mayor will have an invocation and lead us in our pledge of allegiance.
Pray with me. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with gratitude and reverence. As we gather for this meeting, we seek your guidance and wisdom. Help us to make decisions that reflect your will and to work together in harmony. Grant us clarity, understanding, and a spirit of cooperation. May our efforts here serve the greater good of our city and honor your name. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, our next item is audience visitors. I do have some slips, and so we'll take them as they were given to me. Deborah Drive. And she and I have been, I think we're better friends than we've ever been, right?
Almost so, yeah. I would hope. Good evening, everybody. My name is Debbie Dryden. I reside at 92 Rent Road. I have lived in my home for the last 33 years. My husband has lived there all his life. The reason I am here tonight is because of the speeding that takes place on my road and throughout our community. I don't feel safe walking my Labradors down my road. There was a time that I could, but that's been many years ago. The main speeders on my road are neighbors from White House Coast, Surf Rider customers, Surf Rider employees, Surf Rider delivery trucks, and trucks hauling boats make up the majority of the speeding. Neighbors and myself would like to see a decrease in the speeding that takes place on Wrench Road. I have called the police station for years to voice my concerns. I've had numerous wrecks in my ditch. I have replaced my mailbox 4 times. Fortunately, not every ditch rider has taken out my mailbox, but I've always had the mess to clean up. I have talked to Mayor Hessel and the chief of police about my concerns and the community concern. On October the 2nd, I met with the police chief. I was told by the chief that we only had 4 officers per shift, so that wasn't enough to handle the domestic violence, mental health, and run radar at the same time. The police chief said he had 3 positions opened and was trying for a 4th with a grant. And I heard the positions have been open since January. I requested the police department hires and resignations within the past 5 years. 25 were hired, 22 resigned, 3 of the 22 retired. Okay, the officer retention numbers are alarming for the last 5 years. Also in 2006, I asked for a report, and them numbers were alarming too. One of the questions I asked the chief of police was it going to take a child to be hurt or killed for there to be change? On October the 8th, a 14-year-old boy was struck by a van. The boy is in induced coma with several things, a broken pelvis. I know it was dark and he shouldn't have been on the road, but kids don't think of safety first like some adults do. Things that I think could help Leo. VDOT has a program that has additional $200 fines for speeding. The signs are called additional $200 fines. To qualify for a street or to qualify for the program, a street or a road must meet the following criteria. Be a local street or be a residential street or road with a speed limit of 45 or less, have a documented speeding problem, be in a neighborhood or community where most residents face the road or the street. A city can request these signs by providing supporting data. VDOT will review the request and approve or deny it. If approved, the locality will install the signs. The cost of the signs can be funded by the locality, VDOT funds, or a combination of both. I also talked to the chief of police about getting photo speeding in front of the school, and he said he doesn't have enough data for that to be approved. I have been talking with the chief, and we're hoping to work together and get the community to stand up and make more calls to the police department instead of just putting it on Facebook, their complaints. So I'm hoping there will be change. Also, I have gave y'all 2 lists. One is of the complaints from the citizens, and one is the police department retention in the last 5 years. And I also feel like if we hire a police officer and train him, same way with firemen, and I was told 21 weeks for the police department, and they are paid a salary when they are training. I feel like they should have to give the city at least 2 years. If they don't, then they need to pay back the money that was spent to train them. In 2016, when I did a study, it was fire department and police department. We spent a lot of money to train, especially the firefighters, and then we would lose them after they would spend $52,000 to train them. So I feel like with the police department, if they do train them, then, if you go to Riverside Nursing School, they will pay you money back if you stay with them. So I feel like anybody that does come and train and the city spends money on them, then we should be able to retain them for at least 2 years or pay back what the city spent on them. And that's not just training, that's uniforms. And then you have another officer that's taking them around training them, same way with the fire department. They have to take them around and train them. So there's a lot of money involved in that that is just being thrown away because we don't have a policy. The chief said that there is not a policy that you have somebody say, yeah, I will be with you for 2 years, or pay back what I have spent on you. But that's my only thing, and I hope to see some change, And like I said, I will be going to the police station about once a month and looking at his data on the tickets that are being wrote, just to make sure. And hopefully, if y'all do give the raises, that we can get some police officers in here and have more on a shift to where we can not just deal with the domestic or mental health issue and, get to where we can stop some of the speeding. I know it's not going to be 100%, but, if it's known that, hey, you're not going to speed in Poquoson, then, hopefully people will realize you're not going to speed here. And hopefully it won't take forever to do that. But anyway, thank y'all for your time, and I hope to see a difference.
All right, Deputy, I know you're passionate about this issue, and we hear you.
Yeah, well, I hope so. And I hope, I gave y'all some paperwork on There's 104, let's see. I think there's 104 comments from citizens. Yeah, there's 104, and then there's lots of other that you will read. And unfortunately, not a lot of people will come up and stand up for themselves. So I'm hoping they'll see this and they will start, and and like the police chief said, he doesn't know what's going on unless people call in and tell him what is going on. So I'm going to make that a point in my group to, express to them. He doesn't know if you don't tell him. So I'm hoping to work with him and let's get some change. Okay?
All right, David.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Is it Frida Lewis? Is that correct?
Felicia.
Am I close?
Close, Felicia Lewis.
Tell me what your first name is.
Felicia.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
She's a Dryden too.
I am a Dryden too, yeah.
Oh, okay. But anyway, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, my name is Felicia Lewis. I wanted to take a few moments this evening to express my concerns with the dangerously increasing amounts of excessive speeding on Messick Road over the last 6 months. I've only lived on Messick Road for a year and a half, but my husband, however, has lived there for 14 years. We both have noticed this increase in the amount of people that are using Messick Road as nothing other than a local drag strip. I say this because this concerning issue has gone from the usual late Friday night through Sunday speeding to the point to now early morning hours when our children are getting on the bus, and afternoons when they're outside riding bikes and playing in their own yards, or even riding bikes to a neighborhood friend's house. My concerns are not with the people that live on this street that may be going 5 miles and over the speed limit. My concerns are with the people that are turning down Messick Road and are increasing their speed as they are going down this road. I have witnessed cars, trucks, and even trucks with boats and trailers going so fast past my home that if there was a child or an animal crossing the street, there's no way they would be able to stop or get out of the way in time. I don't know if the solution is to lower the speed limit on Messick Road if they are breaking the law and not doing 35. I don't know that 25 miles per hour would make a difference. I don't know if the solution would be to have more presence of Poquoson Police Department to see the concerns that we are now frequently seeing. I do understand, however, that there's no way for the police officers to be on Messick Road 24/7, but I'm asking for maybe a little bit more patrolling on the street, if at all possible, and I give them complete permission to use my driveway if needed. I'm not sure what a solution would be to address this issue, but I can no longer sit back and watch this happen without voicing my concerns to the appropriate people before something tragic happens. Thank you for your time and allowing me to voice my concerns.
Thank you, Felicia.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Miss Margaret, there's somewhere.
Hello, I'm Margaret Spells. I live on 1384 Poquoson Avenue. I have a problem with speeding down Poquoson Avenue down towards the wharf. People go past my house constantly to the point where my 16-year-old daughter, I won't even let her walk our dogs at night because you can't, our dog is dark. And once you walk outside, there's very little street lights down that road, that end of the road to begin with. And if you're not paying attention, those cars are so fast, it's a blink of an eye. And I've seen kids get hit, not at that end, or not here, but I've seen it, and it happens too quickly. And they have no remorse. They fly constantly. All hours of the night. I could be laying in my bed, and my bed is in the front of the house, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, all hours of the night. I told my husband the other night I should get up and record it because in the middle of the night, they're dragging, you can hear 2 cars side by side racing down the side of the road. And it's all hours of the night. It's constant. And it's literally from about my house down to the wharf all the time. And It's crazy. And now that there's more and more children down there, it's more and more dangerous. I've seen dogs loose to where I'm scared an animal's gonna get hit or a kid's gonna get hit, and then what? So I just wanted to let you guys know, and hopefully something can be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. James Johnson? You get that right?
Yeah, Steve, you can call me Steve. So, the little boy that was hit the other night on Yorktown Road happened right in front of my house. And first off, I want to commend the fire chief and the police chief for his staff for their quick response. They were there really quick. But just like everywhere else on Poquoson Avenue in Messick, Yorktown Road's become a drag strip. Well, I mean, it's like a speedway constantly, day and night. It's dark, it's a narrow road, and I think the very bare minimum would be to consider maybe putting some street lights on that road. I think the only street lights that are there are in front of MUS Church, right there, and I'm sure they paid to put those in. But beyond that, I know it would be costly to widen the road and put in bike paths, but you can't ride a bike or even walk down the street without almost taking your own life in your hands. Yep, I just want to let you guys know, and hopefully something can get done soon about the speeding all over Poquoson.
RC, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Thanks. Okay, Ms. Overby? Is it Overby or Overbay? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Roxanne Overby. I live at 47 Woodland Road, and I am here to speak about the need of sidewalks for our community. As most of you know, sidewalks, which are separated from the roadway, are the preferred accommodation for pedestrians. Providing sidewalks, wide and paved shoulders or stabilized shoulders, particularly when providing access to transit in schools, can increase the transportation options for these individuals. Additionally, by moving pedestrians off the travel lanes, motorist operations are improved and road efficiency is increased. Research by the U.S. Department of Transportation indicates that people will walk for recreational purposes if a sidewalk is provided. They also propose in the 2022 strategic plan a road map for how the government will implement a once-in-a-generation investment to create a transportation system that works for every American. This embodies our needs in our own community to invest in transportation safety to ensure that no matter how you're traveling, whether by vehicle, plane, ferry, train, bike, wheelchair, or on foot, you can be confident that you will arrive at your destination safely. As stated in the 2011 City of Poquoson Sidewalk Safety Assessment and Master Plan on page 1 identifies, the ribbons of paved roads provide easy access and circulation around town when not interrupted by canals. However, the narrowness of pavement and open ditch sections restrict the safe mobility of pedestrians, runners, and cyclists alike. As I understand it, there were 2 individuals that had held up the Poquoson Avenue sidewalk project in the past. The facts are in front of us, with the recent pedestrian accident, the shortage in school bus drivers, and the shortage in our police department to enforce speeding and reckless driving. We are not safe and need more options to commute safely. The research has been done, the community is speaking out, and action is needed more than ever. The citizens of Poquoson that I speak for tonight are requesting our city leaders to pick up where we left off in 2011. Reappoint the sidewalk committee if needed. It has been far too long for this matter to be left unaddressed. With increased need for active transportation networks and a growing Poquoson, including sidewalks, this topic, more than ever, paves the way, yes, pun intended, to a safer community for Poquoson now and well into our future. Let me leave you with a few perspectives. If Poquoson Avenue, Little Florida, Hudgens, or many of our corridors that connect our schools were built today, they would be built with a sidewalk in mind.
Just like with With Creek widening project, VDOT has seen the need and is building it, and so should we. As we just recently saw on October 8th, a child on a bike was hit by a car on Yorktown Road. This could have been prevented. If we sit back and do nothing today, it is not a matter of if, but when. Another pedestrian will get hurt or killed on our roads that we did nothing to prevent it. Thank you for your time. We look forward to hearing from you about this matter, this very important matter, that something needs to be done sooner than later. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your comments. All right, is there anyone else? Okay, let's move on, council, to the approval of minutes from our regular session, September 23rd.
Mr. Mayor, I propose approval of the regular session minutes from September 23rd, 2024.
All right. Second. Motion made, second, we adopt the regular session minutes from September 23rd, 2024. Any comments, concerns, questions regarding the minutes? If not, Ms. Kim, please.
Vice Mayor Freeman. Councilwoman Emmett.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilman Five.
Aye.
Councilman Hucks.
Aye.
Councilwoman Bunting.
Aye.
Mayor Hessel.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Thanks, Kim. Move on to new business. First item, ordinance transferring funds from the public safety building to fire engine replacement within the capital projects fund and authorize the city manager and full contract with Fesco Emergency Sales. Good evening, Sarah.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and council members. In the FY23 budget, council authorized debt issuance and appropriated $3.6 million to finance a portion of the construction of the new public safety building. And in these bonds, it was issued for the public safety building as well as any other CCIP items, so we can include it for additional things. So as you know, we received very favorable construction bids for the public safety building, so there are additional unallocated bond proceeds that we can transfer. We wanted to wait until the building was further along to ensure that no major issues arose during construction. We do still have some contingency available if needed as the building continues to be completed over the next several months. There has been a fire engine replacement planned in the CCIP, but we are continuing to see significant lead times. Therefore, the fire department researched procurement options for replacement of a fire engine and found that a 2024 demo truck is available for purchase now through the Houston Galveston Area Council, which is a cooperative purchase agreement held by Fesco Emergency Sales. By purchasing this now, the city will receive a significant savings in both cost and production time. The truck will also have a full warranty, and we would need to customize this with our lettering and striping, lights, and the phone system needs to be added to the truck. The total cost of the engine replacement is $800,000, and we would receive the truck in about a month. You have an ordinance transferring $800,000 within the capital projects fund for the purchase of this fire engine replacement, as well as authorization for the city manager to enter into a contract with Fesco Emergency Sales. I would be happy to answer any questions. Chief Bryant and Battalion Chief Breeden are also here to answer any questions you have as well.
All right, Jared. Thank you very much. Well done. Did you have a comment?
I did. First of all, I want to thank Joe for his tireless efforts. We became aware of this. I actually got to ride in the truck we're talking about with Joe. They were offered to let me drive it, to which I said absolutely not. But I did get to drive it. And as the lead time for these, it used to be 6-ish months for a basic engine and a year for a ladder truck. And as you know from the ladder truck that you approved last year, that $1.7 million truck takes 2+ years to get. And in this particular instance, we have an opportunity to save money and save over 2 years worth of production time to get a new engine in place, as our two older main engines, including our reserve engine, are rapidly wanting to find themselves permanently in the reserve fleet. We don't have so much equipment that we have a lot of options when things go bad, and the two engines I'm talking about are each 20+ years old. And two other things, and you asked a great question the first time I talked to you about it, Mary. You said, if we do this one, how will it affect the need for the next one? And I think this time next year, if our contingency is not used for the public safety building, we may be talking with you about accelerating that third unit. I think that's important. And Councilwoman Emmett asked an excellent question. We discussed it this morning. Like I said, it used to be a very short turnaround, relatively short. But now, if we've got a project, it's in your approved constrained capital projects program, CCIP, for 2027, do we really mean we're going to order it in 2027 and receive it in 2029 if we're lucky? Or do we need to begin to take the actions in 2025 so that we have it? And we didn't used to have to think that way because pre-COVID we didn't have delivery times that long, but we're going to have to. And so that was a great conversation, and we will work that through the next version of the CCIP that you will see from the Planning Commission in the next month or two. That was a really primed the pump on the long lead time and how we work that into our plan. But beyond that, I would like to offer Battalion Chief or the Fire Chief the opportunity to come forward and, if they'd like to, and explain their work. Joe can probably tell you, John can tell you everything the truck will do. He can probably tell you how to put it back together again if you took it apart.
Hey, Joe, welcome.
How are you this evening, sir? Yeah, this is, like the manager said, where we're at is trucks are needing more repairs, so our repair costs are going up. The lead time for getting parts, our current manufacturer, a large portion of their the trucks that we have, a large portion of that truck is all proprietary. And once you get to 20 years, it's kind of like going back and trying to find a 20-year-old cell phone and get it repaired. It gets a lot more challenging. Not saying that it can't be done, but lead times on parts take much longer. We're experiencing that with our ladder truck currently, and the lead times on the parts for that are astronomical. So every time a truck goes out of service, that's another truck out of service. And it's kind of a draw on whether that's going to be out of service for a couple hours, a couple days, or a couple of months. New trucks break down, we know that. But the likelihood of them breaking down, obviously much slimmer, hopefully. We have a good relationship with Fesco Sales that we built going through the ladder truck, through the new tower process. They've been very accommodating to us, and I think they're going to be a good partnership for us. The truck in question, it is a demo truck, but as I told the manager, if I was going to go out and spec the truck today, it is very similar to what we would spec. Engine 1, which would actually become our reserve potentially. Engine 1 is our primary rescue piece, meaning that it carries our vehicle extrication equipment in addition to doing its regular firefighting duties. And it also carries other specialty rescue equipment. So that truck was not ever designed from get-go to actually fulfill that role, but we've made it work. We used to run a small rescue truck in conjunction with the engine that was dividing our available staffing between multiple apparatus. So some years ago, we took on and said, we're gonna kind of condense this, and we're gonna run one piece that does all. This truck that, if we're so fortunate enough this evening for you to approve, fulfills that role as intended. The truck has far more capability as far as carrying the equipment. It actually carries twice the water on board that any truck that we have in the fleet right now does. So if we are in areas that have reduced flow on a hydrant, whatever, or it's down a private lane and it takes a little bit longer to get that water supply established from a hydrant, we have a lot better means to actually extinguish fire. This truck is, I hate to say, but it's really what we're looking for in an apparatus. So with that, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. I did take the manager on a tour of it. Come to think of it, the salesperson actually kind of stood off to the side while I did the tour on the truck. So I've put a lot of research and a lot of time into looking at different apparatus. And as I told the fire chief not that long ago, I think we're at the crossroads of need and opportunity, and this is where they meet. So with that, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Just one, the maintenance problem is mostly a parts problem versus.
Maintenance problem is, yeah.
Because we just can't get the parts.
When you're dealing with proprietary and you have to go back through the dealer to get your parts on a lot of stuff that, quite honestly, when we sat down and we started looking at other manufacturers, even through the tower ladder process, that was kind of a question. How much of your truck is proprietary? And this manufacturer that we're looking at, in addition to a couple of others, most of the parts, we can go to one of the regular parts houses and actually buy stuff off the shelf. So that's a huge plus for us.
Any other questions for Joe? All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Council, we've got an ordinance, you say that it's a little scary when you've got two frontline pumpers that, you know, one's in the shop, comes back, and the other goes to the shop. You know, I don't feel comfortable not having the type of equipment that we need to have in the fire service in the city of Poquoson. So I want to support this ordinance. Does someone have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I propose an ordinance transferring funds from the public safety building to fire engine replacement within the capital projects fund, and authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Vesco Emergency Safety.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. We have a motion made second that we adopt the ordinance. Any other questions, concerns, or comments? All right. If not, Ms. Kim, please.
Councilman Hucks,
Aye.
Councilman Southall,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Emmett,
Aye.
Councilwoman Bunting,
Aye.
Councilman Fye,
Aye.
Mayor Hessel.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thanks, Kim. All right, two under new business, it's ordinance appropriating unassigned fund balance in the general fund for public safety pay plan fiscal year 2025. Wheeler?
Mr. Mayor, council members, you'll recall
Sorry.
You'll recall we had a work session on this at 6:30 this evening. There are three components to the public safety plan: establishing new starting pay ranges for the public safety positions, also beginning the city's first STEP system for public safety folks that are on the public safety scale, and third, a modest compression adjustment. The amount of money we're asking to invest into this decision in the current fiscal year is $131,000, but I would remind you that the annual cost of this decision is approximately $275,000, and that's if it didn't build on itself. The source of the funding in the current year is requested to be general fund unassigned fund balance. We do have sufficient fund balance to pay for it. There is no financial reason to wait. The most important part of the financial decision is the ongoing nature of it, and Tanya briefed on what those impacts would be in the budget. And with that, I would close by thanking once again Tanya and the police chief and the fire chief for their work on this. We had we spent the summer and part of the spring taking what we had and then using it as a foundation of something, build something that was really ours. And those three worked tirelessly on it. I just want to thank them for that again.
All right. Let me thank you, Tanya, the police chief and the fire chief for taking this on. Some of this, I feel, has been coming for a long time, and we needed it. I would certainly encourage council to continue along this in the future. I like the plan. I think it's well thought out. I will support the ordinance. We get a motion for that. We'll move on.
Mr. Mayor, I propose an ordinance appropriating unassigned fund balances in the general fund for public safety pay plan fiscal year 2025.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Second.
All right. I have a motion made, seconded, we adopt the ordinance. Any other concerns? Any other comments or questions? Okay, Ms. Kemp?
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Hucks?
Aye.
Councilwoman Bunting?
Aye.
Councilman Fye?
Aye.
Councilwoman Emmett?
Aye.
Mayor Hessel?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Move on to item 3, it's an ordinance making additional appropriations to the general fund for fiscal year 2025 and restricted funds for various departments in fiscal year 2024. And there's Sarah again. Yes, sir.
Back again. At this time of the year, we typically bring to you leftover funds from the prior year. We are still working through the audit and plan to have that completed hopefully next month. But based on this, we have some carryovers into the fiscal year 2025 for the general fund, which includes $20,123 for the police department for state asset forfeiture, national night out, recruitment and retention program, and community engagement. There's also $137,354 for the fire department for their state 4 for Life, state fire fund, and Dominion radiological emergency preparedness program. This will be spent on some new ambulance equipment and other fire tools, as well as some emergency preparedness expenses. There's $6,366 designated for streetlights, $114,493 for opioid abatement, and $17,414 related to a PCB settlement. Parks and Recreation Events has $2,430 for the 2024 Seafood Festival, and the library had $20,383 in unspent donations. Then we have some additional revenue for fiscal year 2025. The library has received final state aid amount from the Library of Virginia for an additional $21,912 to be used for furniture in the library. The city also has an additional $16,400 in direct distributions from the Virginia Opioid Abatement Authority for opioid abatement efforts. The fire department had 2 grants in fiscal year 24 that had some remaining unspent amounts, which from FEMA was $12,844 to complete the vehicle exhaust system at both of the fire stations, and $125 was remaining on the Department of Homeland Security grant, which was used for the drone replacement, and Chief Reed was to spend last $125, and hopefully again. Fire department received $750 in donations for fire prevention. So you have an ordinance to appropriate these funds, which totals $370,394 in the general fund for fiscal year 2025. And I would be happy to answer any questions you may have on this.
Any questions of Tara?
Just to clarify terminology, a restricted fund is something that's donated for a particular purpose, like the library or a book or something specific.
Yes, so it's designated.
No questions? No, Mr. Vice Mayor, you got a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I propose an ordinance making additional appropriations in general fund fiscal year 2025 and restricted funds for various departments in fiscal year 2024.
Second.
All right, a motion made, seconded, we adopt the ordinance. Any other concerns, comments? If not, Ms. Kemp?
Councilwoman Bunting?
Aye.
Councilman Fye?
Aye.
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Hucks?
Aye.
Councilwoman Emmett?
Aye.
Mayor Hessel?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thanks, Kim. All righty, the next item on our agenda is a resolution requesting state legislative action to amend the city charter, section 4(1)(I). Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a great time to take note and welcome our delegate, for those who's here with us. And for those that may not be familiar with how charters work in the Commonwealth of Virginia, charters are a special, unique set of governing laws for a city. And they're ultimately approved by the General Assembly. It's a specific grant of authority. There's no 2 charters that are exactly the same. So as council will recall, and this item is brought forward at the request of the mayor, but also the current existing city charter, section 4, under powers of council, provides council the authority to compel the attendance of its members and to expel by a vote of 4/7 of the membership a member of council for improper behavior. And that has been in our charter perhaps since its inception in 1975, but certainly the entire time I've been here. The proposal that the mayor has asked be presented tonight for discussion and consideration is to amend that same section to add, I'll reread the first and then I'll add, and I'll tell you when I'm adding the language. The existing language in the section says, compel the attendance of its members, compel the attendance of its members and expel members for improper behavior by a vote of 4/7 of the whole council, expel a member. That's the existing language. The proposed additional language picks up any person appointed to a city board or commission by the city council may be expelled for improper behavior from such board or commission by a vote of 4/7 of the whole city council. The city attorney and I worked on the language under your direction, Mr. Mayor. We're here to answer questions, but since this is your item, we'll stop talking at this point.
Okay, let me say first, are there any questions?
Are we gonna have some kind of guardrail standards or something about what unacceptable behavior is? That's a pretty general term.
I'll answer it, and Wayne, if I get it too wrong, please correct me. The current charter does not define improper behavior. And so this addition would mirror the same language, which itself does not have a current definition. If we had a definition, we would have suggested it in the text. Probably, if I could, if council does move this forward, to explain to folks that maybe are not students of city charters, which would be almost everyone, the process going forward. If you request a charter change, council votes on that. We then communicate with our delegate and our senator, and we ask them respectively to introduce a charter change bill in the next General Assembly on our behalf. Bills hopefully in both houses of the General Assembly, and that moves through the legislative process. If it is ultimately approved by both bodies and signed by the governor, it would normally go into effect the following July 1st. So if it were to go into this session, it would begin the General Assembly process live in January. If approved, would go into effect July 1st of 2025. There's nothing about this that I think would qualify for an emergency enactment clause. Did I get anything wrong? All right.
Let me just say a couple of things. Number one, we as a council know, even though we try to vet our boards and commission members as best we can, sometimes that just doesn't work out. And we end up, and the city ends up suffering for folks that are on boards and commissions that have their own agenda, whether it be political or otherwise. We've been through this with the school board, probably one of the most important boards in this city. For me, some of the issues that we've talked about privately, some of the issues we've talked about openly, people that sit on boards and commissions and just, they're not there to help. They're only there to hinder. They have their own agenda, and that's what they follow. They use any type of social media they possibly can to distract the public and distract us. And I think it's embarrassing to this city when we had folks like that. And we have no way right now of saying, look, you haven't fulfilled the requirements of your job. We respectfully ask you to step down. And if that's not enough, then you would take action here at the dais if you got 4 votes, then that lines it up. So I'm not in the mood for the city to be embarrassed in any way, shape, or form. And that's happened to us. That's what's initiated this change. But you know, I think it's needed. Any other comments? Any other questions? AC, could you come to the mic, please, if you don't mind? For those who don't know it, AC Poquoson is our delegate. Do you have any idea what committee this is for? You know, we're going to ask you to move this thing forward, and Danny Diggs as well. Do you know what committee it will go to first?
Yes, Mayor, it will go to the cities and towns, the county cities and towns committee, where it will be heard. Well, you know, it has to be presented by the chair of that board, and then it will be heard there. But it is special legislation, so it will require a 2/3 majority in both houses to pass, and then of course the signature of the governor. Unless he vetoes it, then it would require. Well, it couldn't be vetoed because it already has 2/3 majority, but it would require both those 2/3 majority to pass. Which that's the process of how it will go. It just has to be heard, and as we know, that does not always happen.
But we could have representation from the city, and they can address it, they can speak to this.
Absolutely.
At the delegate level and also in the Senate.
Absolutely. And I would say that I can't speak for the senator, but I can say for myself, any bill we carry for a city, we would ask, we would welcome that assistance in, because they're going to want to know why. And if they can be given a reason why, then the chances of it being approved is greatly increased from hearing it from the horse's mouth rather than just another delegate.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. What's your motion?
Mr. Mayor, I propose a resolution requesting state legislative action to amend city charter section 4.11.
Second.
Okay, motion made, second, to adopt the resolution. Any other concerns, comments? All right, Ms. Kim, please.
Councilwoman Emmett.
Aye.
Councilman Hugs.
Aye.
Councilman Fye.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilwoman Bunting.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Mayor Hessel.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thanks, Kim. The next item is, this is something, this is resolution canceling the second meetings of the month of November and December 2024.
Mr. Mayor, I propose a resolution canceling the second meetings of the months of November and December 2024.
All right, thank you, ladies, appreciate that. Ms. Kim?
Councilman Fye.
Aye.
Councilwoman Bunting.
Aye.
Councilwoman Emmett.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
You got this one.
Councilman Southall. Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilman Hugs.
Aye.
Mayor Hessel.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
That wasn't Vice Mayor's fault, I distracted him. Okay. Yeah. All right, item 6 is a resolution making appointments to the wetlands. Vice Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, I propose a resolution reappointing Mr. Phil Fresco to the Wetlands Board. His term will expire October 31, 2029. I'm appointing Mr. Ned Mata, alternate to the Wetlands Board. This term will expire 31 January 2025.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion made second. We adopt the resolution with those names inserted. Any comments, concerns? If not, Ms. Kim?
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Emmett.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilman Fye.
Aye.
Councilman Hugs.
Aye.
Councilwoman Bunting.
Aye.
Mayor Hessel.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, Kim. Item F is comments from the city manager. Mr. Wheeler?
Mayor, members of council, I apologize in advance, but I have more than usual now. I'd like to start by thanking council for your action on the fire truck and the implementation of the public safety pay plan. I wanted to share, and I haven't had a chance to share it with council, but to share it with the community as well. As folks may be aware, our community participates in something called the community rating system, which is a FEMA program that, if we do it well, qualifies most of our homeowners who have FEMA flood insurance for a discount. And we have been at an 8 for several years, and I'm real pleased to say that due to Ken Somerset and the team he's worked with, we've been able to move that from an 8 to a 7. And what that means is that most of our qualifying homes here in Poquoson that have FEMA flood insurance will now receive a 15% reduction on their premium if folks are talking to their insurance agent and they have questions about that. Ken can help provide the information, but that's a good thing that helps almost everybody. I wanted to take a minute, and particularly with the folks who are still here, to thank both Engineering and Public Works for their recent work to establish a crosswalk going from the middle school across to the museum property. That's in, but the one that the community may not know about yet, we have put it in place. It just hasn't happened yet, but it will in the very near future. Establishing a crosswalk from the community center across the street, across Odd Road, and then tying in a short sidewalk section from there to get folks to South Terrace Drive. And that should be in within the next several weeks. Both John and Sean have done a nice job in helping us figure out how to get that done, and then going ahead and getting it in process of being implemented. Reminder to everyone, the Seafood Festival is this weekend. And a couple of other things of community interest. Early voting continues. It is in the City Council chambers. It is Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30, and will be also on Saturday, October 26th, and Saturday, November 2nd, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., also in this room. And as an informational note, we have approximately 9,500 registered active voters, and more than 2,000 of which have already voted. And the last item, I just wanted to bring to the public's attention that we have been partnering with Emmaus Baptist Church to reestablish a program that we used to provide and provide it in a different way, called the Poquoson Diners Club for senior adults. And we still have spaces for this monthly program. The costs are very modest to participate, and if folks can't participate because it's still not modest enough for them, let me know and I'll find a way. So if you're interested, or you know a senior adult that's interested in that Senior Diners Club program, we would love to hear from them. Please call Parks and Recreation. We have several spots available, and it's best if we've got at least a good number of people. But if we become so successful we need to get 2 buses, we'll figure that out too. And that's all I have, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Randy. Buddy? Yes, I'd like to thank all the citizens who came out to City Council tonight to pay attention to the government, especially those concerned about speeding and safety and Poquoson. I'd also like to thank those people at home who paid attention to the city government. Not to thank, I'm sorry, but go ahead. To pay attention to the city government by telephone. I appreciate it. It's important that you do that. It's important that you be a part of your city government. I encourage urban citizens to continue to apply for positions on the various boards and commissions in the city. And I'd like to thank Breeden for his fine work on that fire truck. It saved the city a lot of money, saved the city a lot of time, and it was a very timely event. And I appreciate all the work the city did working on the administrative efforts to improve the pay for the city employees. Thank you, buddy.
Ms. Angie?
Well said, well said. I second everything that Bud said. Thank you for everybody who came out, either participating or attending, speaking. Thank you for that. Again, how fortunate are we that there was a demo fire truck that meets our city specifications and we can have soon. We're very fortunate for that. I'd lastly just like to thank the city and its staff for the installation of the crosswalks, the 2. One that is already finish and one that is coming, that is very well done.
Okay, thank you. David?
Thank you, Gordon. I'd just like to elaborate a little bit on Councilwoman Emmett's comments. The two new crosswalks that we have going in, one in front of the middle school, one in front of the high school, as well as the new section of sidewalk, resulted directly from suggestions from citizens. So that's just an example of how we do listen. And those things were done in very short order, within about 2 months. The one in front of the middle school has been completed. The one in front of the high school is soon to be completed, along with a small section of sidewalk. But we certainly welcome those comments. We do not have a monopoly on the good ideas, so we depend on working together with the citizenry. I'm also very thankful to be in a position that we could address the public safety pay plan, and thanks so much to all involved with that. Very thankful that we're in a position to do so, and looking forward to addressing the pay plan for all employees that do not work in public safety, because we're grateful for their services as well. So thanks to all that came out and spoke to us tonight. Glad to have y'all here, and look forward to continuing to work with council. So thank you, Gordon.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Davis?
Again, I echo everything that's been said. A lot of good things have been brought up, but I do want to thank everyone for being here and for speaking. It's no easy task to get up to the podium and speak, and thank you for doing that and bringing the concerns that represent many others in the community as well. That's a start. Safety is a main concern of all of council, the safety for our citizens, and tonight we've been able to address safety concerns through even the pay plan, being able to attract employees, fill those jobs that we need, and to hopefully keep those people that we train and make an investment in them, so it is a huge investment for the city and those that those employees will serve. And the fire truck, I mean, that was just like a divine intervention. I mean, that was the timing, the cost. It's just a win-win. So that's a great thing to happen. Want to make sure everyone should know about the Seafood Festival coming up this weekend. Invite them, come out to have a good time, family friendly, fun for all, and hopefully we'll have a good turnout.
Thanks, David. Keith?
I have nothing to add, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
Yes, we're glad to see our delegate here with us tonight. And this weekend, I was at the Virginia Municipal League, which is kind of an organization of various mayors, vice mayors, council members from all over the state. And there were people talking about they don't have enough money in their city or town to fund their police department, and they're way down. One lady was saying she's authorized, she only had like 2/5 of the police because that was all they could afford. And we're sitting here tonight, approving raises for our people, which I think is just absolutely wonderful to be in that kind of shape. And just from listening to general comments from the audience, very well managed city, and comparatively, or compared to, we're just doing well, and need the citizens to know that. And last, we do appreciate hearing from our citizens, and appreciate y'all being out.
All right, thanks, sir. All right, we have a closed session to go to?
We do. Mr. Mayor, I propose we go to closed session pursuant to section 2.2-3711A1 of Code of Virginia, 1950, as amended, to discuss a personnel matter.
Okay.
Second.
All right, motion made, second, we go to closed session. Mr. Kim, please.
Councilman Hux,
Aye.
Councilman Southall,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Emmett,
Aye.
Councilwoman Bunting,
Aye.
Councilman Fye,
Aye.
Mayor Hessel.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
All right, thanks, Kim.
Mr. Mayor, could I suggest that you begin that in about 10 minutes, because there's some folks that may want to speak to you. And for those that may not want to stay around, we do not anticipate taking any action at the conclusion of the closed session.
8:10 then.
make sure we're on.
We're on,
And
we're
you're
on,
good?
okay?
For those persons making the motion, please make sure your mics are on, please.
Okay, should be. Mr. Mayor, I move we certify the closed session and that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by paragraph 2.2-3712, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the public body.
All right, sir, thank you. Second. All right, several seconds. Ms. Kim?
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Hucks?
Aye.
Councilwoman Bunting?
Aye.
Councilman Fye?
Aye.
Councilwoman Emmett?
Aye.
Mayor Hessel?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other concerns or comments before we adjourn? Okay, we need a motion to do that.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Okay? Second. Motion made and seconded, Ms. Kim?
Councilwoman Bunting?
Aye.
Councilman Fye?
Aye.
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Hucks?
Aye.
Councilwoman Emmett?
Aye.
Mayor Hessel?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
We are adjourned.